Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Of Scribes and Men, where I, the mad poet of 1,000, am going through the first 1,000 in these volumes on my road to reach 10,000 poems by November of 2026. We are on to, of course, Volume 7, and tomorrow we will conclude the last three poems, but now we're just going to jump into Volume 7 and see what poems they provide, which are 100. Each volume contains 100 poems. Neon rain in midnight skies, lifeless cities of enormous size, silence in robotic disguise, futuristic samurai comes for his prize. A moment of bliss going down the mountainside with windows open wide. I swam among the lights within the twilight neon sights, chilling to the music playing in the club where people are swaying. The days are hot, but the nights are cool, swimming at the beach or pool, relaxed into the waters and begin to feel a moment of dreams that become real. There once was a cat who saw a ball. He began to chase it down the hall. But when the cat came back, it began to attack, for it wanted a mighty brawl. A nice little limerick for you. Have you ever been unnerved by a yokai smile in the dead of night when things come out from hiding or on you whom they are spying? Into the shadow of your own making, they came alive for the taking, before the time stops and things stood still, for nothing now could he fill. An early riser, not healthy or wiser, the lies of the advisor, in the will of the franchiser. Astronauts leaving the Earth for space, answering the questions of astrophysics case, awe in their eyes in wonder as they float by, ponder. Tales of men the dead did see, no freer was the one alive to be, for a man was shot on the ground in the eyes of all those around. Whispers and giggles in the girls' slumber party, gossip all around. Wisdom came from the man of the mountain, who found his way to a magic fountain. Eternal life came with its cost, for him to guide all those who would be lost. Now alone in a place hard to meet, in a stone chair alone in his seat, time had come and time had gone, witnessing the fall and rise like the rising dawn. No one knew who he would be, or even he could never foresee the knowledge all would go to forget, and in their hubris believe to be the smartest yet. So he watches the march of the blind fools, who believe they made all of the tools, while to others he imparts knowledge still, who make their way up by their will. Here we have another ghazal for you guys. Waves of emotion as you mourn your loss. Cathartic tears flow down in embracing loss. Wisdom comes in many ways you come across, in material things and their value loss. Echoes of men who have carried their own cross, who have seen the highest highs and the pains of loss. Men who build empires to rise, guide and boss, as experience comes beside failure and loss. Don't worry yourself among shallow dross, or remain where time itself comes at a loss. Oh, to you of scribes and men, what wisdom do you toss when grief comes in and teaches all about loss? And then we have another one, a little bit longer than the previous one. What waves do you control at the zenith, O midnight moon, you lesser light of the night, O mighty moon? The times when wolves howl, when lovers swoon, to embrace the skin in their sin under the moon. Give your grace upon the coarse sandy dune of those who travel under the cool light of the moon. You are to midnight what the sun is to noon. Do not let the shadow hide your face forever, my dear moon. Luna calls and none can say they are immune to the pull of your gravity and weight, you loving moon. The circadian rhythm of the wakeful to you attune, sleepless nights of artist lights for you the sky and moon. Even of scribes and men longs again for the boon, where he thrives under the midnight sky and shining moon. Got two ghazals in this one for you guys. What ways of men will you see, or will you remain in hate to see than be? A refusal to look deep within to know whether it's your judge in sin. You who watch to test and wonder the limits of man to turn asunder, to rise up high or fall down low, not knowing the direction it all would go. The coolness of night, sinking into the lagoon, swimming at midnight. Ooh. Conflict comes in fight or flight, to test the strength of one's might. We all have and feel them both, as they test us in our growth. To you I confess I have not been at my best in the summer's heat. Embrace my hand and make it cool with the hand of a lover. Across the sea, the lighthouse shining, to prevent the sea on boats to be dining. For safe passage right on through, to make his way home to you. Ran the race and came in first, yet with no way to quench that thirst. A throat so dry you're on the brink, to be thankful when you get that drink. Wakeful soul tied to the night, tired eye to the dawning light. If one could, you'd wish to be awake at night for none to see. I will not stop nor abort, though some may come rather short. Time has come to bend in chains, as I long for freedom's gains. So stop and stay a while, close your eyes and ignore that pile. Take a breath in and out, and if you must, give a shout. A lover's caress upon the face, neck and chest, love's security. Once upon a time, they once said, with all the stories and lies they fed, of life and things to come, now drowning at the bottom of the bottle of rum. Another limerick for you. There once was a man named Larry, whose big chest was very hairy. He went to a salon to have his hair be gone, only to come out as a fairy. Would the earth go moan while it would quake, in the sound none can hear or fake, only to ask, done by what or who, on the earth for this to do? Off the earth to leave their home behind, to find a planet of its kind. Pioneers and pilgrims to find a new place as they travel on through space. Test the waters, test the well, find the place poison might go dwell, to twist the souls and the mind, confuse good and evil as it's defined. They pick the bear, yet not how to tame. A different path, mine's not the same. Of such things they'd probably run, while others seek to pet and have fun. Fawning of a cat in places it had sat, purring on the lap. Percentage by the rules they live, honor split with what they give, morals toss away to the mice like gamblers tossing dice. Heavy lids and eyes that fight, stay awake and keep their sight before they creep up to the bed and fall asleep like the dead. This was when I was very tired. Kept by a mother's will, like an apple pie on a windowsill. Delightful things for some to eat as a warm, sweet treat. Baby swimming seals caught at the aquarium. Sea puppies have fun. No fear for one until they double. A slight swallow and now there's trouble. To figure out whether they're both drunk or like yourself caught in a funk. Lull me away to a place of dream, to fire off a magic schoolgirl beam, and then to wake and forget it all, to run with toast, then crash and fall. I'll go pet the super dog, and beware the hypno frog, or the snail that seeks your life, causing new kinds of strange strife. To you who is wed, the groom and bride in this hall, a celebration. To the caves with paths of three, where they went none could see, whether there was an omen's blight to affect all within its sight. Throw the dice, watch them roll, to see if you hit your goal. To the places where you toil, beware the things that become a foil. Sweet taste of honey danced dangerously on her lips like plum blossoms, and now my heart is beating towards this lonely feeling. Okay, 44. This is a Sijo or Shijo. I'm going to say it's going to be Shijo. It's a Korean traditional poetic form. It is 14 syllables. Each line, technically each line is supposed to be, it's 3 lines, although some English translations might put it to 6 lines, but I'm trying to do the more authentic version of Shijo's, so keeping the lines at 3 because that's how they do it in Korea. So I'm keeping it as authentic as possible when I write these. But basically how it works is each line is 14 syllables, 14 to 16 syllables. The first line starts with a thing of nature. The second line continues it, and the third line is a kind of reflection, philosophical thing, or what have you. It's like a human, like it switches the kind of like the scene to wanderings and all of that. I'm probably not explaining this terribly properly, but this is definitely a Shijo, as you will come to see. The waterfalls trickle down, flowing into the river stream. The dawn's first light glistens bright upon the calm surface. My heart belongs to the beauty, bathing like a dream. So yeah, that is my first Shijo, and I will have many more as these go along. I spilled Skittles on the floor, mix of red, blue, and green. Caught in patterns hard to ignore, judging what I've done and seen. Do you fear the depth of the cave of lost things none could save? Into the light of your shadow, running from the secrets you know? Among the hills of snow and frost, of the frozen bodies and the lost, hunting for their daily meal before their creatures come to steal. With a spin, sound of a violin, caught with a cheeky grin, start of a dance to begin, pulling all around with her music within. Pride of a lion, they roar, peace of a dove, adore, patience of the old, they sit, patience practice through their time, fit. Read the scripture, take the deal, become another act on the circus wheel, to false importance thanks to pride, gathering contradictions and hypocrisy to their side. I fight against a destructive battle, tipped over like a herd of cattle. God must look and mock my ways as I plan yet fill my days. Why journey then with a pen of my own if there isn't a path that can be shown? Or must I fight until the mountain top before I can breathe and finally stop? One step forward, 3 behind, another step forward, and a fall of the same kind. A path not trilled, yet a life does call as I try to fulfill an order so tall. A calling they say, a calling they cry, as I shout to the air while asking why. If this is meant to be where I must go, why must things go ever so slow? The cheetah's fast pace, build from a moment of speed, slowing down to rest. Would you go if no one would see, to achieve the top where no one would be, only to sit lonely there where you care, to feel the breeze of the cold night air? Kick down the door and drag them in. Stare at the muses, turn them into your kin. If they set up walls, break them down. Claim your throne, claim your crown. Tired eyes as I want to sleep, yet promises made, promises to keep. To do the task that must be done, to finally say that you have won. Rawness of the arm, of blood-stained skin, onto gravel like gravity's wind. Up to the feet, although it will sting, water and an ointment on it to bring. Used to be a child of the night, bite the lip, now in tired sight, wishing to go back into a normal state, where dawning wakes don't remain my fate. Deals were made within the midnight hand, fractured things where they stand, where things blur and one can't see, with sweet words and smirking glee. Clanging against steel, the hammer upon metal, blacksmith of the forge. Stand up from a chair, crash into a wall, embrace the shadow down the hall, and when you lay now on the ground, others will smoke at what they've now found. Have you ever entered a state of delirium at the edges of wakened sleep when all begins to blink and fade before you finally succumb into the deep? Okay, and here is another Sijo. Once again, I've already explained Korean traditional form. They value this highly. This is another one. Forests feel quiet embers spark into a burning wildfire, consuming hunger, devouring all within its raging path. Such is my stomach's passionate desire for food and love. Yeah, there's always kind of like a turn, a reflection, a statement at the end of a Shijo, or is it a Shijo? I'll assume it's Shijo. So yeah, keep that in mind. I'm perhaps explaining it very poorly. Catch a bolt of lightning, set it up onto the shelf's ledge, and when all things have gone white and dry, summon and toss it off of the cliff's edge. And we have yet another Sestina for you guys. I've done like what 2, 3, 4. This is my fourth. Fourth Sestina. This is my fourth Sestina. Poet, do you think I write this for you to taunt, living rent-free in your mind and all that may haunt, watching a man flex skills in front in order to flaunt? Yet for you no need to worry, this is no test of echoes of men and all that they do best, before sitting all down in their own rest. Shall I set your fears and worries down to rest? It is the form itself I aim to mock and taunt, to become the being unto it whom shall haunt, with a grin and a bit of malice in a dance to flaunt, so that the Sestina understands that it is it whom I test, to who forge my name into the plaques with the best. Spite to mastery to become one of the best, before I can set all down and finally rest, though skill so questionable, it is not you who I taunt. With form so pretty and hypnotic they begin to haunt, among the pages of words and pride that sing and flaunt, conquering each form that comes to grin and test. Poetic forms that come to forge and test, weighing itself against the poor and best. And it is they who I shall set to final rest, who they think they come to taunt, with illusions deep to scare and haunt, and in their difficulty stand above and flaunt. Tear down with a quill and parchment, and it shall not flaunt. Throw it in and see if it now can pass my test, to see whether the difficulty stands among the best. When put onto the scales with all the rest, in which ways shall it tip and then taunt, and when they sleep nightmares come and haunt. Let my face be the one that comes to haunt, for all the forms that come and dare to flaunt, whom all else fear in their own test, never standing on top or among the best. Return to their ways for comfort and rest, yet I stand still to tame and then taunt. Oh, to you, O Hydra, I will taunt and forever haunt. Look at how you flaunt, I shall now on you test, and stand among the best before setting you to silently to rest. Boom. Third Sestina. Or is it fourth Sestina? It's a nene. Fourth Sestina. This is my fourth Sestina. Yeah. And then there's going to be a fifth one, and then so on and so forth. I told you I was going to break this form down, and I'm going to do it in rhyme. Out of sheer spite. Do you miss the warmth of the summer air, when leaves decay and colors of autumn fare? Into the winter where the dead may dare, before the growth begins again in spring with a care. A bird on a perch, looking beyond the dewdrops, hunting for their food. Beware the swamp and bog, within the thickness of creeping fog, haunted by what lurks inside of superstitions that have lived and died. Focus of the journey to the sea, from the land they would go and flee, to find a new land and way, to live out until the end of day. Cold creeping into brittle bone, in the mountain forgotten and alone, no heat of fire or food left in sight, heading towards the shining light. Test of a sweet taste, left from a sweet paste, to the sauce of a cake the bakers design and make. Do you hate the hand that feeds, going off to see the place that bleeds, with a smile upon your face until you end up in your own place? Comfort of the bed, the coolness of the pillow, sleepy summer night. Drag the muses in, kicking and screaming, away from the pleasant places of dreaming. Pick their brain for inspiration to take, giving each one room and stake. Third rock from the sun, watching all that has been and done. Improvements on nothing new, from the people with nary a clue. Does your hand feel like the softest of silk? Have you cried over spilt milk? And have you ever dreamed of a love so true, with all the things that it could do? And then I have another Sijo for you guys. Another Sijo. Honestly, if the Koreans don't notice by some point, I might be laughing. I will be laughing. Rainy seasonal weather of a tropical storm outside, embracing the buildings and street with 1,000 wet kisses. What I wouldn't give now for a taste in this barren desert. Taking steps forward won't hurt much. You won't crash if you let go of the clutch. The flow won't tell you where to go. Order comes with those who know. Bitter pills are not always hard to swallow, for you to not feel ever so hollow. The light at the end of the tunnel won't kill, but seeks a new place to come and fill. They say not to go on with liars, but I can help you achieve your desires. You just need to go through the dark and shadow to gain the lit gifts I long to bestow. Comfort will end up as your demise. Take my hand, drop the disguise. Ignore the static of the little white lies of all the truthful, deceitful guides. Forged by a brittle wind, amidst the cold and icy peaks, no warmth in the hand you hold, among the brave and the bold. Step onto the streets with traces of legacy high, reaching for the stars in sky, with words so timeless they pass on down, that echoes through the people in every town. Somber melancholy sitting at the end of the table, things shading off, never remaining stable, growing every quiet moment ever so still, to fade off and leave behind longer shadows to fill. The afternoon heat beating down onto picnics, bright and sunny day. Pass the torch within the cave of people lost we've gone to save, dead or alive to go and recover, as at the request of a worried lover. Flowers in colorful bloom, gifted to the bride and groom upon the joyful wedding day down by the water bay. Swing in with a little song and dance. Grab a hand, grab your chance. Move on up onto the floor. Become the one people adore. Fields of neon green. Strangest things we've ever seen. Silicone on grass. Stuck inside a madhouse of fun. Doors are locked, none can run. When animatronics come alive, best to find a place to hide and dive. That one's about Five Nights at Freddy's. Time has passed away, riding through the eternal day, hiding my tired face before finding a better place. Turn your eyes away from the hypnotic trance, find a way out while the others lose their chance. Beware the time of the music beat drop that will cause you to turn and stop. Forging at hammer strike, sparks of every enchantment, a new magic blade. Hit by the grate of a truck. Now in another world I'm stuck. Find the setting of the land, learn the skills for you to stand. Yeah, here we go. Now, this is a roast limerick. There was a lady of Twitter who wore the ears of a bunny and glitter. I miss you, she sighed, with no one inside, as none of the suitors could fit her. And then another roast. There once was a Gothic online who sought to steal souls benign, with an outfit to trace, forcing eyes to a place while feeding their lonely wine. A pound of flesh for attention, boost the numbers, keep the retention, for their sin show your skin, and then feel hollow all within. Melodrama tea to the sight of rain, stuck inside with existential pain, tempting the sun to come and show light through clouds in a row. All hail the king of the hill, now red tapes and orders to fulfill, that all long to throw away onto his lap at the end of day. Swimming sea puppies coming along up the dock. Seals seek to be fed. Dollars for a shining smile. Model still and stay a while. Strike a pose, perform a dance while others mourn at the lost chance. School days coming, parents rejoice, getting ready with the illusion of choice, to learn lessons so they can be set as they grow older and then forever forget. Punch the gas in the moment of speed, not a matter of want, but one of need. Adrenaline pumping through the race on city roads in a police chase. Call of the willows, call of the willows, onto a beautiful spring, the beauty it brings. And that is it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow when I close off with the next 3 volumes until I reach 2000. And I will see you guys then. Bye.